Excellent. What's up, guys out there in Revolution Land? We're going to run you through some of the Patek watches for this year. This has been one of the most amazing collections of Patek watches in recent memory, and every year they're pretty good, but this year in particular is insane. So first watch, which is the most, kind of the insane watch, and I say this from the perspective of I've already placed my order for this watch, is the 2018 white gold Patek Philippe Perpetual Calendar Nautilus. So I'm going to pass this over to Suzanne. Suzanne, tell us why you like this watch.
And what we're looking at here is the automatic self-winding micro rotor. You can just see that right here.
Caliber 240. So the Caliber 240 is one of the legendary calibers. What's really cool about this watch, so you can see it sideways in particular, is that of all the calendar Nautiluses that you have, including the annual calendar, this is the thinnest. So it's actually an incredibly refined watch. You put it on your list. Yeah, exactly. And I've kind of dressed appropriately, specifically for this because, as I mentioned, I put in a request for one, and hopefully my order will be confirmed. Just swing the camera around just immediately, because you have the head of Patek Philippe right there for Singapore.
It's happening.
But there you go. I mean, that's amazing, And deeply, I mean, I won't swing to you on camera, but just off camera, I can ask you. Probably the response of this has already been insane, right? Yes. I mean, they broke the internet already, which is amazing. And hey, how cool is it that Patek Philippe is now on Instagram, right?
Yeah, shout out.
It gave me like this complete shock because I was like, oh my God, Patek Philippe's on Instagram. Then you could literally see the number of followers just like skyrocket. It was incredible. So yeah, I love this watch, guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to wear it, and hopefully I get to wear it on a more permanent basis. But it's really cool. And incidentally, I should mention this is important, right? Because you get tons of watch journalists coming to the fair all the time. And they all say, yes, I like it. But the point is, a lot of times they have to say that because, brands are advertising in their magazines, their blogs, their websites. The way you can tell when a journalist really likes something, because journalists also are the cheapest bastards in the world, is when they reach into their pocket and they actually buy a watch. So you know that the appreciation and love from this watch is extremely sincere. And Patek Philippe, you killed it. All right, so let's move on to the next one. So this is the Aquanaut Chronograph. So I'm going to pass this to Suzanne.
So as you all know, this is, you can tell, it's a beautiful chronograph. It's the second complication that we're actually seeing in the Aquanaut collection. The first being, of course, you remember the Aquanaut travel time. And we've got these little orange accents which kind of emphasize the sporty nature of the Aquanaut, which, is by itself, it's the sportiest collection in the
absolutely. On a rubber strap, easy to wear.
Anyway.
And what's cool about this also?
Automatic.
Yes. So, automatic. This is also one of the watches that benefits from the silicone technology, or silicium as we say in French, which I've never understood because they always say silicium, and then if you're an English speaker, you say silicium as well, but actually it's just silicone.
It's just silicone.
Right? So what's great about this is it's a vertical clutch chronograph as well, so you can wear it all day long, no loss of amplitude as a result of wearing it. And what's very cool is all the chrono information is in orange and all the timekeeping information is in white. So you've got a great immediate visual distinction between the two types of information.
Yeah, very legible because it's all on one dial, so you can read it exactly as you would read the time.
And do you like the orange?
I love the orange. Yeah. It's something bright. It's cold here today in Basel, by the way. So
I like the orange as well.
So.
And I like the orange in particular because I don't know if you guys are fans of Speedmasters, but the Ultraman, it's got a big ass orange hand on that, and that's got a big ass orange. So it should be called like the Patek Nautilus Ultraman. Aquanaut, that's right. Patek Aquanaut Ultraman.
Yeah, just for a bit of a superpower boost.
Exactly.
It comes with that extra strap.
Oh yeah, so that's important to remember. So it comes with two straps. So depending on how you coordinate your outfit, and also listen, when is delivery of this watch happening?
Well, soon.
Soon. So if you guys are gearing up towards summer, and when you're in the
on the lake,
in the lake, if you live in Geneva, or on the beach, or even at the swimming pool. The only way you can kind of express who you are is by the swimming trunks you have on, the sunglasses, maybe the book you're reading if you like to read books. I read Calvin and Hobbes usually when I'm at the pool.
Yeah. Manscaped or not?
Yes, Manscaped, and I don't know why she's pointing at me. Manscaped or not, and then and the watch you have on your wrist. And I think it's a perfect time for you to be considering your perfect summer watch, and it can't get any better than that, right?
Okay, people are shouting for the 5270.
Okay, here you go.
Yeah, give the people
so 5270, and so my buddy Shari, sorry to out you, Shari, but he's got the 5970, the platinum with the salmon dial, and every time he puts that watch on, I'm kind of contemplating. I'm very I'm torn because I love this guy, but at the same time I'm thinking about kidnapping him and stealing his watch, right? So they've come out with this watch so that I don't have to. It's a 5270, which uses the in-house movement as opposed to the Lemania CH27. Uses a Patek movement as its base. Has 6 patents. It's got a precise jumping minute counter. It's got flexible teeth for the
for the
meshing
of
the drive wheel and the chronograph wheel. And just look at it.
Exceptionally beautiful salmon dial.
Amazing.
Oh, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Do you not want one right now?
Here, yes, Suzanne.
Yeah, go for it.
But it's not the only 5270 to look at. We also have an incredible rose gold version with a black dial on, of all things, a bracelet, which I'm going to pass to Suzanne right now. So, here you go.
Let's have it.
That's pretty damn stunning.
Look at that.
So what's interesting about Patek Philippe is when they're doing rose gold watches for men as opposed to women, they use a different configuration of rose gold. For men, they use, how many N, Tracy?
4 for women, 5 for men.
Okay, 4 for women and 5 for men.
So it's just a slight stronger tinge for the masculine wrist.
Exactly.
Smooth.
Oh, and you know, something we should talk about also related to the Nautilus Perpetual Calendar was a lot of work went into integrating the pushers for the calendar information into the construction of that case. And also here, because of the integration of the bracelet, they had to do some work as well in terms of where they're placing the pushers, which is, you know, really sounds simple, but it's actually incredibly difficult.
We have now here the anniversary piece with the golden leaves, and something that we just found out today, something super interesting, because as far as we're concerned, this was designed by Gerard Jonta, but speaking to the guys downstairs, they tell us that this is actually not the case, so not as popularly believed. This was designed internally, and you can see that the golden leaves was it was designed according to the proportions of the golden ratio, which those of you who are into mathematics, as some of us may be, you know, there's no shame into being into mathematics. The golden ratio, which you know, defines proportions that are supposed to be according to the principles of beauty and harmonious design.
Yeah.
The proportions are not exact, but they're very close, and as you can see, the effect is just stunning.
And it's the anniversary of the watch, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah. 50th anniversary, so 1968. So this watch is actually even older than I am, and I'm really, really old. But it's like aged much better.
Just little touches like with the rose gold, with the onyx on the crown.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Yes, we spoke about Instagram and how Patek Philippe is now Instagram. Here's the watch that kicked it off.
Here, you take the big one, and I'll take the... I actually had 37.5, which is meant to be the woman's watch. I actually think this is also a great size for men. I mean, look at it on my wrist, you know.
It's a classic size. It's classic
fantastic.
Proportions.
Absolutely fantastic. And you know, it's funny because I remember when this watch was launched and it was very polarizing. But it's, you know, it's polarizing generally. And I don't want to be the guy on Instagram who's going to say this, but it's generally polarizing from the guys that not really in a position to buy it. Oh, did I say that? It's tough, but I'm sorry, truth hurts. But you know, but those, it's true. But the people who have purchased it, I mean, it's a very in-demand model. I like it because it brings some creative energy to Patek, and I think Patek cannot, you know, it can't just rest on its laurels. It has to continue to advance. It has to advance technically.
And they're actively not doing that, yeah.
Aesthetically, and in every direction. I think it's a cool watch, right? There you go. And she's got the larger size one, which also actually looks really good on her today.
I wouldn't characterize this as a men's watch because, as you can see, I've got a tiny wrist, but it fits perfectly well.
That's
right. It's a very strong look. So, you know, if you're a strong woman,
so as a couple,
to consider.
Are they're sold separately, or can you buy them in pairs?
They're sold separately.
We've already started to have requests in pairs. So
I think that's cool, right? Because even as a couple, you could swap them around as well, right?
Just have a look at them side by side. And you can really see that there's the difference in the rose gold, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, so that's 5N, 4N, right? 4N is created so that if you're mixing with yellow gold and so on, it doesn't sort of jar quite as much. But I think both of the watches are incredibly cool. Well done. Yeah. And what do we have there? Oh, this watch is great. Okay, so you know, it's a woman's watch, so it's funny that I'm picking this up, but I have to say this is one of the best watches at the fair. It was interesting because I ran outside the Patek booth into Mike Tay, and he's like, "You got to come and look at this watch." And we both just are so enamored with this. 38mm, it's a woman's watch, but 38mm, glass box sapphire for the top, for the dial, which gives it this huge opening. It's so beautiful. And then for the back as well. So if you look at that, the movement's just so beautifully on display. Look at that dial, incidentally. Right? Pulsation, Arabic numerals. It is just phenomenal. I mean, if they were to make that watch in a steel case for men, or for men and women, people will lose their minds. Could you consider doing that? Can we talk to Sandrine and Thierry? It is just, and look at that on the wrist. It's absolutely perfect.
And I mean, the diamonds aren't crazy. They're very subtle.
So sleek.
You could totally wear that.
Absolutely killer watch. I don't even know what the reference number or what that's actually called.
Do you need to know?
Classic style, as you can see, like we mentioned earlier, with the Arabic numerals, with pump pushers, beautiful.
Show them the movement.
Yeah.
Look at
And
that.
obviously, That's the main show, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
That
and
is.
the reference number is 7150/250R-01.
Great.
It's just a good looking
Get
watch.
get that down.
And,
Get that down,
Tracy's
guys.
now going to give us all 6 patents. Go ahead, Tracy.
Flexible T.
Yes.
He doesn't know them all either.
I don't either. I just I got no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway, 2018 Basel Fair. Look, the sausages are extremely expensive, but the watches are extremely good, right? So loving the Basel Fair because of the creativity, because of brands like Patek Philippe. You guys just absolutely nailed it, knocked it out of the park. Thank you so much, guys.